Hey everybody, Bobby here from the GM table, and this is going to be a quick video about what's coming in 2021. So first I'm going to hit YouTube because you're watching this on YouTube. Then we're going to talk about Twitch, and then we're going to talk about the podcasts because we got a lot of stuff. In fact, after the podcasts, we got something separate from that I'm really excited for. But with that, first of all, with YouTube, we are trying some new stuff with videos. We experimented a little. We always experiment kind of in December because it's the end of the year. We already know things are kind of weird. So we use that as towards the end of the year to just try new things. And from there, we take that and figure out what we want to do with the next year. One of the big things is we're going to be doing bigger projects and bigger videos. In fact, we're going to be doing kind of movie analyses using TTRPGs as the lens. Basically breaking down movies and using them to help teach or showcase people how to be better players or better GMs, using movies people are already familiar with as kind of a gateway and a bridge maybe to get some people you know who aren't already into TTRPGs or kind of curious about TTRPGs, but when you talk about games that they don't know about, it's just kind of noise to a lot of people. So if we frame it in the way of movies, maybe it's going to connect with some new people and help us grow the hobby. With that though, because we're going for bigger projects, also after noticing some things with the analytics towards the end of the year, we are changing up our release schedule. We're not really looking to do weekly videos anymore. We're going to do one video every other week. Now we might do bonus videos in between sometimes, but the consistent ones will be every other week, and those will be the bigger reviews. And those will either be bigger reviews or these analysis videos, tip videos, things like that. But they're going to be bigger. They're going to have more polish on them, more like the earlier stuff back before this channel was so busy. With our weekly videos, we started making just quick and dirty content. I'm not ashamed of any of that content or anything like that, but I do want to go back to doing more polished stuff. And to do that, we got to shift our release schedule. So every other week, we're going to be releasing a video. We're also going to be shifting from Fridays to Wednesdays. Putting things back into the middle of the week gives people more work days to watch these things, because we've noticed way more people are watching this stuff on weekdays than on weekends. And because of how YouTube works, your first few days are actually very, very important. So we're going to be shifting to Wednesdays. That's why this video is on Wednesday. Hey, see how that works? But we're going to be looking for bigger videos, back to more polished videos, but they'll be coming out less often. Now, away from YouTube onto Twitch, if you're paying attention to that in our live shows. Right now we have Tales from 2000 and Heroic Journeys, as well as on Mondays we talk about TTRPGs, and on Fridays we used to do different video games. Things have already started to shift on Fridays, which is what we were trying some stuff. But if you're interested in our live content, Mondays we're still talking TTRPGs, but we're shifting it from a midnight stream to a 10 p.m. to midnight stream. This is Eastern. All the times I'm going to be mentioning for live shows, it's going to be Eastern Standard Time because that's where I live. So that's what my schedule is based on. But 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on Mondays, we're still going to talk TTRPGs. We're working on some new stuff to get even more audience involvement, answer your questions, things like that. Tuesdays, still going to be Tales from 2000 when we do breaks between seasons and stuff like that. We try out different games. We do one-shots, we do two-shots. Sometimes we do like a month off, typically when it's between an entire season rather than our mid-season break. Because if you haven't noticed, we do 6 weeks of a show, do a mid-season break for a week, maybe two. Then we do 6 weeks of the show. We do a Q&A episode. And then we take like kind of 1 to 3 weeks off, kind of to try out other games, do other stuff, and come back with the new season. Now, with Tales from 2000, I'm going to be really honest. I don't think this is going to be the final season, but we're only going to do 3, maybe 4 seasons of Tales from 2000. It has a set ending. So with that, we will have a new show coming after that. We actually are in pre-production of that. I'm not going to announce too much of it, but it's going to be a combination of the fantasy with a modern-ish noir setting. So I'm really excited for that. There'll be more info on that later. As far as Saturdays with Heroic Journeys, that is, the game itself isn't ending and the story isn't ending, but we're retooling it, and it's going to become a much more comedy-focused show called Himbos and Heroes. which we'll keep moving forward with. Now, with Himbos and Heroes and Tales from 2000, as well as the show afterwards, Tales from 2000 is a podcast. We're just going to roll in the podcast stuff before I talk about Friday streaming. Tales from 2000 is a podcast on Anchor. In fact, that's where most people catch the show. When Tales from 2000 ends, the podcast channel is going to shift, where it's just going to be a GM Table channel kind of network. And all those episodes will be labeled as Tales from 2000. And our new show is going to stay on the same podcast, so you don't have to find a new show when we release new stuff. Saturday, we've actually been recording and editing those as a podcast, and the Hero Journey stuff is going to become a Patreon exclusive mini-series, which is coming out really good. In fact, I'm not even editing it. We have editors now. And Megan is doing a great job editing that show together. It's coming in kind of slowly because people have lives. But that is coming together, and that's going to be released on Patreon. Now, the show, or same show, new title, all that coming afterwards, Himbos and Heroes, I'm not sure if it's going to enter into the podcast network, at which point we'll be alternating the same show multiple times in the same stream, or if we're going to lump it into a batch and release it in between seasons of our Tuesday shows, or it may, we're still in discussions, it may become a Patreon exclusive show. So we'll have the public show, which is the more serious drama shows, and then the comedy shows will be the Patreon exclusives. Then finally, Fridays, well, at least finally for the streaming stuff, Fridays is officially becoming Trivia Night, which we are currently tooling into a full-blown game show with audience participation and prizes and all kinds of really fun stuff for that. I cannot wait till the reveal trailer for that comes out, but I wanted to get this video done because every year at the beginning of the year or end of the year, sometime in this range, I tend to talk about what's coming up next, and that is a big deal. Finally, a really big one for me and for many people on the team, has nothing to do with video content, is we are releasing a game system. It is based off of the Year Zero system, and it's going to be called Zero Light. We've done this in collaboration with Free League Publishing, who does the Year Zero system. They do the Alien RPG, they do Vazian, they do Tales from the Loop, they do Things from the Flood, you know, a bunch of the games back there that I really, really love. If you've been keeping up with any of our stream shows recently, and you go, this is a really cool sounding game because it's very RP forward, those are the rules of the upcoming book. Now, I will say, all of those rules are currently in playtest. We're modifying and we're expanding, we're building. Because Zero Light is going to be a setting neutral version of the Year Zero engine in a rules light-ish situation of system built for role players and for performances first. A system that was built from the ground up for things like actual play shows where the dice don't get in the way. So I'm really excited for that. And along with the release of the books, not only going to have the rules you need for a setting neutral game, but it's going to have a bunch of settings in the back of the book, as well as like any of the rules tweaks that happens for each individual settings included in the book. And those will have the settings we've been using. I'm sorry if you hear my baby. I can't get him to be quiet. Baxter, please. We're looking at whether or not we want to do a full release right off the bat, or if we want to Kickstarter it so that we can maybe fund some extra settings and some extra goodies within the book that we normally couldn't afford. But by the end of the year, we are going to not only have our own book, but our entire own rule system. It will not be the only rule system we ever stream. It will not be the only rule system I ever review. We're going to still do weird or what I think are interesting RPG reviews, as well as reviews of kind of the bigger products. We're still going to stream whatever we want to stream. Our main shows tend to be the system because not only me, but my performers and everybody on the channel tends to really, really like this system for streamed games. But when we go between seasons and stuff, we'll still be running other systems. And in fact, we're about to do a 2-week game of D&D 5th edition, not even run by me. But with that, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.